Listen to me, all of you. Our stock is plummeting right now. One of you better fucking fix this now, or I swear to God I will fire every single one of you.
We are doing all we can, Miss Susan, but the investors don't want anything to do with Eversmile after all that's happened. I don't want to be disrespectful, but we would not be in this situation if we actually tested the Smile Spray to make sure it didn't kill anyone.
I agree with Harry on this one. We had since 1983 to test the Smile Spray product to make sure it was safe for people, and to make sure the incident of 1983 didn't happen again. I'm sure you know what incident I am talking about, Miss Susan.
Do you think I don't know about the fucking 1983 incident? I am aware of it. You two were supposed to be in charge of making sure the testing was successful and that the product was safe. You made the fucking problem, so find a way to fix it.
On February 3rd, 1983, the company Eversmile, we're doing the testing trial for the Smile Spray product. After the last one failed, the volunteer who agreed to do this testing was a man named Jonathan Bacons, an employee of Eversmile. In the engineering department during the testing of Smile Spray product, the incident happened. When a product was sprayed on Jonathan's mouth, it caused the flesh on his mouth and face to peel off and forced an unnatural smile on his face. It also caused his behavior to be very aggressive and violent. More than 90 employees were killed that day by Jonathan. Holy shit. Holy shit. How do you let that shit happen? Oh, by the way, I'm sorry for the stream going down. That was my bad. I had a fucking issue with my internet connection for a second. Stream, so.
This thing isn't going to kill me, right?
Of course not, Mr. Jonathan. We have modified the spray to make sure it's safe and we get good results. Now, hold still. And all done. If all goes right, the spray should be helping your face muscles make a natural smile.
I think it worked, Doctor. Tell me, did it work?
Well, I can see that. There's a bit of inflammation on your lips, so let me go get the nurse. I'll be right back. God, this place is so fucking creepy. They really need to fix this place up.
person will be infected and will violent urge to eat human flesh. Peasant, I'm not reading that. Behavior is extremely violent. He can't bite, but he can kill someone due to his increased strength and durability. This strength is enough to kill a human. At this time, we are still unaware how the prototype smile spray did this. Patient, is currently locked in a chamber room and watch lamp was owned by top security. Underneath every smile building on the floor D39 chamber. At this time, all cures have been ineffected. And ineffective? In effect. Oh, in effect. My bad. My bad, Chief. What? Morning. Yeah. You read this. Hey, you read this. I'm not. Maybe I should put a fucking flashing light warning on my stream. But if people know what analog horror is. I hope people know what analog horror is. Is there no volume? Oh.
We worked everything out so
Let me just re-get the full one. My YouTube link's not gonna work now, is it? Fuck.
Hello everyone. Before we begin, I just wanted to thank all of you for agreeing to be the first to test out my new product Smile Spray. Now this is a prototype, so there may be side effects, but we worked everything out so there should be no problems. Anyway, please follow me to the laboratory. Welcome to the laboratory, and now I'll let my father take it from here. From now on, he will be in charge of all of you.
Thank you for that, Susan dear. Good evening, everyone. My name is Leonardo Grayson, founder of Grayson Industries. I will be your guide during the testing of Smile Spray, making sure you are all safe. So listen carefully. We will be driving through the forest to my personal laboratory. It's about a 2-hour drive. When we get there, we will begin the testing. Now, may I ask all of you to please follow me to the van outside. Let us be on our way. Welcome everyone to my personal laboratory. I know you all must be tired, so please help yourself to some free coffee. Anyway, I want to let all of you know that the first person who will actually be the first test subject for our product is my best friend, Thomas J. William.
Hello everyone, I am Thomas J. Williams, but please just call me Thomas. Anyways, we will now get started. After I finish, one of you will be next, so be ready, and remember, there is nothing to worry about.
What do you mean you don't want to do it? We had a deal.
Yes, we did have a deal, but that was until you told me Susan never tested the Smile Spray. What if something happens to me, huh? You're putting my life at risk here.
You should know by now risk is a part of science, but you're not going to die from this. It's just a product that will help people smile. So stop being a goddamn baby about it, or perhaps you would want Maria to find out about your affair. It would be a real shame if she found out, wouldn't you agree?
What the hell is wrong with you?
If you so much as go near Maria, I swear to God I'll kill you!
Thomas, you and I both know you won't kill me. You don't have the guts for that. You're too pathetic for that. Even when we were kids, you were always so pathetic. So I suggest you do what you agreed to do. Understand? Thomas.
Yes, I understand.
Warning, the material on this tape is prohibited. Discard the tape immediately. Warning, the material on this tape is prohibited. Discard the tape immediately. Warning, the...
Alert! Alert! We are currently receiving reports of a creature of unknown origin. While not much is known about the attacks, we have received information on the creature. The following is a step-by-step guide to keep yourself safe in these unknown times.
Oh my fucking god. Hell no, we're not watching that. Hell fucking no. Fuck you! Fuck you. Fuck you. Just straight fuck you. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I'm episode 1. Let's look at this one. Missing person. Volcanic social media influencer, sex male, last seen
Hello. Welcome to XYZ Local News from downtown Portland. A few moments ago, our team was notified about a strange 13 to 20-year-old looking man with a dislocated jaw roaming the streets and tackling people. We would advise that really no one goes outside. And in other news, a 13-year-old boy from Salem, Oregon has been reported missing. He was not kidnapped, but left his house at approximately 2:43 a.m. He used a hat and long curly brown hair. This was George Buchan with XYZ Local News.
fuck, Richard?
Well, hello, Mr. Kitty. Can I pet Kitty? Where's you going? Kitty, come back here, Mr. Kitty. Kitty, where you going?
One of 500 birds that are being judged today at the show.
Who's that? Willie, that was for Christmas.
You guys say Colorado.
Everything's
Get this damn ass bitch ammo! Fuck me!
Who's the hottest Uber driver you've ever had?
I never went to Uber driver.
And just remember, no one will ever be able to hate you more than you already hate yourself.
3-3. That went, and since then...
Oh, my dude, you just got...
Thank you so much for calling. Please leave your message after the tone.
Well, you could be bothered with it, but they're saying that here on our radio stations that central Wisconsin's getting all kinds of tornadoes. And well, you know what? That around Madison and stuff, they're predicting it's going to get worse up by Milwaukee, Jefferson County and stuff. Yeah, they probably will get a hell of a lot more than we do because it'll go off to the lake. But right now, it's for the southern part of Portage County, and we are more or less up in the north. They probably will get a hell of a lot more than we do because it'll go off to the lake. But right now, it's for the southern part of Portage County, and we are more or less up in the north. Yeah. So it's really not bad. We've had some really heavy rain. I mean, it really came down like good. I don't know how much it got, but we got a lot of rain. And it's not been that disastrous, although when the sirens did go off, I brought the door open down to the basement. Yeah, well, you can't mess with that. No, we're in the basement. In fact, I just looked through a note today and made a list of the pictures. Oh, okay, good. And set the check, and whatever the postage and the tax will be, I have no idea. So I'll send you an additional check for that, whenever you find out what it is. But I have to sit down and think, when I find out, I'll try to keep it on and do it as soon as I can. Yeah, well, whenever. It's no big thing. We did go, Dad finally saw them. We went on Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember, and saw them at Lorraine's house and got a real good chance to look at them, and I picked out what I want. There's one I want in a 5x7.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Is it real?
This kid finna knock himself out.
look at us, we're in love and happy and not dead inside. Get fucked, both of you.
Acercamiento a esto, nena. Cualquier cosa que no te caiga bien.
Chicken!
Later, Mom. What's up? Me and my boys going to see Uncle Cracker? Give him that back, Jordan. Do you want to go see Uncle Cracker now?
I wanted to be a cowboy, baby.
Hell yeah.
I want.
No, we're not having vibes. That was just.
Metaphysical awareness disorder is a fatal mental illness that has been making a sudden return in recent months. MAD is a result of exposure to verbal information that is not desired to be known. The rate of death by suicides in patients diagnosed with MAD is 97%, but don't worry. The remaining 3% makes it worth trying to reverse the delusion. Avoiding the root causes of metaphysical awareness disorder development is the first step to being safe. First, avoid excessively frequent religious practices. Avoid unnecessary beliefs and philosophical implications. Last but not least, looking after your loved ones is a key factor for maintaining mental stability.
I need something.
I have something to tell you guys. I'm scared of the ocean. I'm not necessarily
Symptoms of this illness include cough. Hello, and thank you for tuning into King 5 News in Seattle. We have a special report here. The Washington Department of Health has reported a high influx of what appears to be a flu-like illness within King County, although the exact type of pathogen is yet to be determined. So far, there are at least 120 confirmed instances of it, and patient 0 has not been identified. Its primary method of transmission is unknown. Symptoms of this illness include coughing fits, high fever, sweating, unusual sensitivity to light, and in some cases, severe headache. Several school districts have announced temporary closure to prevent students from contracting the illness. Again, both the index patient and the source of the epidemic
The following is a health bulletin from the Washington State Department of Health. This alert is being sent out to all residents in King County in regards to an intensifying epidemic of what officials hypothesize to be a modification of the flu. The highest concentration of cases are located within the Seattle metropolitan area. However, there have also been a few reports of the illness in suburban areas. It has been noted that this pathogen has been spreading unusually rapidly. To mitigate the spread, King County will have certain safety regulations imposed while officials investigate. A mandatory curfew is in effect, lasting from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. the following morning. In addition, citizens must maintain a proper distance from others, excluding those that live in their household. These limitations will be in effect for at least 1 week, beginning tonight. Remember to practice proper hygiene. Wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and warm water to effectively combat germs after you go outside. Stay away from others if you are sick. Stay tuned to local media outlets for the latest information.
Things like this happen every year. It's flu season, and this is not out of the ordinary, especially after the influx of travel across the entire U.S. But this is how a global pandemic starts off. Yeah, I remember that shit whenever they started talking about China. The next day, this new epidemic makes national headlines.
This is MSNBC with breaking news out of Seattle. Washington state health officials have noted that within the past few days, a flu-like illness has been spreading unusually fast in several different areas. King County has placed restrictions and health guidelines for the next week or two to try and prevent the pathogen from spreading farther. Health experts have sounded the alarm, noting that this has pandemic potential. If the spread is not mitigated, then it could possibly start popping up in other states and eventually other countries. Officials estimate that around 3,000 people have contracted this illness, a dramatic increase from 2 days ago when that number was only around 100. A small number of deaths have also been reported. The Washington Department of Health and the CDC are both trying to collect samples of the pathogen to try and identify it.
Missing persons alert. The following message is transmitted at the request of the King County Police Department Missing Persons Unit. Within the past hour, 7 people that are not connected to each other in any way were reported missing. Their identities will not be revealed. However, they were reported to have been acting strange before they disappeared. They reportedly did not respond when people would try talking to them and looked like they had lost their sense of direction. The King County Police Department is concerned that these persons' behaviors may eventually become more hostile and pose a threat to civilian safety. If you observe anyone nearby you acting abnormally, do not approach the persons. Call 911 immediately and notify them of where you saw the person. Thank you for your cooperation.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to King 5 News in Seattle. Conspiracy theories surrounding the new virus have started to circulate online, especially after several people were reported missing. Due to the reports saying that they were acting strange, some have theorized that these persons were affected with the virus. These theories are popular on social media platforms such as Facebook or Twitter.
They're latching onto something that tells them what they want to believe. They're latching onto something that matches their existing worldview. And it's important to these people to do that right now because of the anxiety and the uncertainty that they're facing around this.
This has led people to question whether or not the government is telling the full truth, or if this virus is really what it seems.
How many people die annually from the flu? So even if this is twice as bad, it's serious, but I'm not concerned.
However, these theories are unlikely to be true because there is no other evidence besides the missing persons that can back the claims up. Nevertheless, this virus is still very dangerous and it's spreading at an alarming rate. More school districts continue to follow the trend of closing until this epidemic subsides. Officials are strongly advising residents to avoid going to large public gathering spaces and to wash hands thoroughly each time after going outside. Much about this pathogen, including the first patient and the outbreak source, are still unknown at this time. However, that is being investigated. At this time, officials hypothesize that this virus was brought into Seattle from the influx of Thanksgiving travel across the United States. Conspiracy theorists claim that the virus was accidentally released from a lab.
911, what is your emergency? I need help. My roommate is sick and he just started attacking me out of nowhere. Calm down, sir. Please give me your address so I can dispatch police units. 714 Scranton Street, Unit 2. And you said your roommate was sick? Was he sick with the new illness? Yeah, I think so. I've locked myself in the bathroom, but I think he knows I'm in here. Sir? Sir, are you there? Help! He's trying to break the door! Just stay on the line with me. Please, send help!
Hang on. What? Oh my God. What's wrong?
The virus, we were totally wrong about it.
What is it?
It's nothing like the flu. Look at it.
It looks tremendous, just like Ebola, but it can't be, can it? There's no way we missed this.
Clearly we did. We've been treating this like the flu when it could be a highly contagious and deadly virus. We have to get this information out. Who knows how many people are walking around infected with an Ebola-like virus? The whole Seattle area is at risk.
Immediately after these findings, the virologists shared the information throughout the entire CDC sounding the alarm.
Thank you for joining this emergency conference. We have conducted research on this new virus and have some urgent information to share with you. The virus, which has begun to spread rapidly across Seattle, has been collected, and scientists working with us have conducted research into its properties. Initially, we believed this virus was a flu-like virus, posing a threat to the weak and vulnerable, but initial research has shown this virus bears more similarity to the Ebola virus. Ebola viruses belong to a family of viruses known as filoviridae, which involve viruses such as the Ebola virus and the Marburg virus. Based on our Ebola research in recent years, we can conclude that the new virus is not an Ebola virus, of which there are 6, but a more distant relative, and likely fit into the category of a filovirus. This virus has now been dubbed Plaxiovirus. The virus has a similar composition to Ebola, and as such the city of Seattle and its surrounding areas should be quarantined immediately. A full military blockade will be required to ensure the virus is contained as much as possible. Once we can confirm that a suitable perimeter has been established and will not be breached, medical and research teams will be deployed to help those who are infected and collect more samples to further understand this new virus. Members of Congress have been informed and will soon prepare to begin the necessary actions. The President is also being kept up to date.
Oh shit, sorry. Upon hearing the shocking discovery made by the CDC, Washington governor immediately takes drastic action in order to stop the virus from spreading farther. However, since the public still thinks it's the flu virus, they are a bit confused and somewhat angry. A bit. I need to do something.
The following is a message from the Washington State Department of Health in conjunction with the Centers for Disease Control and the Washington State National Guard. Due to recent developments with the virus spreading in Seattle, the governor of Washington has decided to instate a military blockade around King County. As of now, nobody will be able to enter or leave King County without proper authorization to stop the virus from spreading outside of the county. Anyone who attempts to breach the blockade may be met with lethal force. Life within the county will retain some degree of normality. However, there are limitations being enforced. Residents will be able to go outside, and essential stores such as grocery stores or pharmacies will remain open. However, public gathering spaces such as parks or malls will be closed off to the public until further notice. This curfew is in effect indefinitely and will be lifted once it has been determined that the virus is no longer a threat to the general population. Stay tuned for further updates. We have some exclusive information about the military blockade around Seattle established last night. Nobody can enter or leave the city, and anybody attempting to do so will be arrested or met with lethal force. This has been done to contain the virus, and emergency medical personnel will be deployed in the city shortly. However, the people of Seattle have made their opinions on the matter known, as certain individuals have been spotted attacking military personnel and using violence to bypass the blockade. On Twitter, the hashtag prisoners is trending at #1, as a considerable number of people in Seattle make it clear that they disagree with the blockade and believe it is a breach of their human rights. We have a citizen of Seattle with us today. 28-year-old Benjamin Kane has agreed to speak with us about his opinions on the matter. Ben, how has this blockade impacted your life on a personal level?
I plan to travel out of state to visit my mother, as she's ill, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think she's got much time left. I want to spend some precious time with her, and this blockade would just completely ruin that. Why we need the military to block off the city for a flu-like virus that doesn't really kill anyone is beyond me. I think it's tyrannical.
We're getting information about a potential protest in the downtown area. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't blame them. Their freedoms are being stripped away by the government, and they have the right to protest against it. Our lives have been brought to a halt, and we're being expected to just deal with it. Never in my life did I expect that the Army would hold us all at gunpoint to stay in the city. This is America, for God's sake, not Pyongyang.
Anything you want to add before we let you go?
Personally, I'm disgusted that the people in other cities aren't making a fuss about this. This whole thing is completely illegal, and we should be fighting to resist this sort of tyranny. I, for one, will be taking up arms and fighting to restore my freedoms and encourage other citizens at Seattle to pick up their weapons and fight off the oppressive.
Sorry about that, but we cannot have that on the air. I want to take the time to make it clear that we at MSNBC do not condone violence against the military, and you will be met with lethal force if you fight the military forming the blockade.
Custom made. I had this shit custom.
Everyone needs to disperse immediately. You are disturbing the general public and violating the law. Please walk in the opposite direction within 5 seconds, or we will use force. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms ready. They're not stopping. Fire!
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Washington State National Guard. The military forces along the established blockade around King County have been over
become very confused after the alert abruptly cuts off and displays a message saying that everything is fine, with the sirens going off and some areas even being able to hear the gunfire. The story didn't exactly add up. That leads them to wonder what's really happening. confirmed cases.
Hello? This is Randy Gray from the U.S. government, and I'm legally obliged to keep track of the blockade and how it's going. Have you had any issues so far, as well as any breaching attempts?
No. Not at all. Everything is absolutely fine down here. No worries down here, sir.
What was that?
Nothing.
Hey, are you sure everything's alright down there?
Blockade bigger. Later in Portland, Oregon.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Portland Police Department in conjunction with the Multnomah County Emergency Management. The Portland Police Department is advising all residents to remain indoors at this time. Police are on the lookout for several wanted persons in connection with a series of killings in the Portland area. The suspects were last seen escaping from the St. John's Medical Center, located near exit 10 of Interstate 84. The suspects were described as three middle-aged men dressed in suits. They were also reported to have been acting abnormally. If you observe anyone that matches the description, notify the authorities immediately. Do not attempt to interact with the suspects, as they may be hostile towards you. This coincides with an uptick in hospitalizations in the Portland area. Hospitals have reported that many of the recent admittances seem to be very similar to each other. Most patients have similar symptoms. 7 of these reported patients have died. This points towards the beginning of a flu epidemic in the Portland area. It is unlikely that this is the same virus that prompted the quarantine of Seattle. However, residents should remain cautious. Wash your hands each time after going outside. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze.
Same deadly virus from Seattle. This sparks even more outrage when they realize that the blockade may not have even worked. They're just over there gunning down people right now. Holy shit. This is a lot of... This also becomes apparent to them that the virus's missing persons were not simply a coincidence. Many begin to realize that the virus was not the flu virus, but actually something far, far worse. I figured that people would have already realized that, but you know, that's just me.
I'm sending you this message on behalf of Randy Grave. He was tasked with keeping up to date with the Seattle blockade, a legal requirement. However, it has come to his attention that the military in charge of the blockade have been lying and covering up their failures. The military blockade, according to our new information, was breached recently. However, when Mr. Grave checked up on this, they insisted there were no issues and nothing had occurred. It was only when cases began to rise in nearby cities that it became apparent the blockade had been breached. Their attempts to cover up their abject failure has put this nation at risk, as the virus is no longer contained. As such, the President has requested we take swift and decisive measures to restrict the spread of the virus. He plans to crack down on travel between cities and contain the virus in certain areas. The military stationed in Seattle have been dealt with, and actions to prevent further spread of this virus will soon be taken. As government officials, you should implement restrictions to prevent the virus from entering urban areas, particularly if you serve the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. Goodbye, and good luck.
After hearing this, the government rushes to take intermediate action to stop the virus from spreading.
This is an urgent message from the Washington.
Go grab my food real quick.
state government. Due to recent events in Seattle, government officials have been prompted to initiate health-related restrictions across the entire state. This is to prevent the highly contagious and extremely volatile virus originating in Seattle from spreading farther than it already has, as it has recently been confirmed that the military blockade surrounding King County was breached, and thus allowed the virus to spread outside of the Seattle quarantine zone. Furthermore, recent studies by the CDC have confirmed that this virus is completely novel and far deadlier than any flu virus. Its composition is similar to that of the Ebola virus, predominant in Africa and notorious for having an extremely high mortality rate, and virologists heavily suspect that this new virus is a distant relative of the original Ebola virus. The virus type has been named Plaxiovirus, and the specific strain is being referred to as K17PXVI. Its origin and its index host are still unknown. This virus is especially dangerous due to its ability to destroy the mind of its hosts and drive them into a homicidal rage with a thirst for blood. Effective immediately, all possible methods of transportation outside of the state are now being shut down and enforced by a legion of National Guard troops. All highways that go out of state are being cut off. All flights in Washington state are now grounded until further notice. If you conspire with others and attempt to violate these laws by crossing the state border, you, along with any other accomplices, will be shot on sight. These emergency laws are meant to be taken extremely seriously. You will be considered an enemy of the state if you attempt to violate these guidelines. At this time, there is no clear time frame for when the restrictions will be lifted. Surface streets will remain open, however, all businesses or privately funded institutions will close down. All public facilities will also remain closed. You will have rations from the government delivered to your household every week, including 7 days' worth of non-perishable food, water, emergency medical supplies, and clothing. If you begin to experience symptoms of K17PXVI, call the authorities immediately, and you will be taken to a secure location, where you will be quarantined and monitored for at least 2 weeks. If your mind begins to become affected by the virus, you will be killed as a safety precaution. Failure to comply will result in dire consequences and severe legal punishment, or possibly even execution. This virus cannot be allowed to spread across the entire population. Your government thanks you for your cooperation.
The move to essentially imprison all of the residents in Washington state seemed like it was out of desperation, frantically trying to prevent the virus from spreading across the country. But once highly contagious virus escapes, there's no getting it back. A large-scale pandemic is now inevitable.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States Armed Forces along with the Centers for Disease Control. Within the past 2 weeks, all states along and near the American Pacific coastline have experienced a complete surge in cases of the K17PXVI virus originating from Seattle. This virus is extremely dangerous and has the ability to take control of a host's brain, provoking a homicidal rage. Anyone who has caught the virus is to be considered as lost, and thus they should be discarded immediately. Military forces in the region are depleted due to the rapid spread of K17PXVI, and local law enforcement is not equipped to deal with this. Due to the circumstances, the Department of Defense has enacted an emergency protocol reserved for this type of situation. Under this directive, martial law will be declared in the following states: Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. Residents in major cities in these states are advised to evacuate immediately, as military forces will be conducting a full sweep of largely populated areas, killing anyone they see in order to slow down the spread of K17PXVI. Do not use highways for travel. Highways must be kept open in order to ensure efficient travel for armed forces. An additional alert will be sent out providing updates on the locations of government-sanctioned shelters. Keep in mind these shelters have limited capacity, so not everyone will be able to seek refuge there. Reported onset symptoms of K17PXVI include, but are not limited to, violent coughing fits, chills, sweating, bloodshot eyes, an extremely painful burning sensation in the head or stomach, headaches, vomiting blood, and slurred speech. If someone you know is showing even one of these symptoms, leave them immediately. They are as good as dead. Do not be sentimental, as they will eventually be consumed by this virus and kill you. Remain vigilant, and remain safe at all costs.
Within the past few weeks, a new virus, by the name of K17PXVI, emerged from Seattle. The pathogen has completely puzzled scientists, especially with its apparent ability to infect a person's brain and provoke a homicidal rage state. The method of transmission has not been confirmed, though it is likely that this virus is airborne because of its rapid spread across the entire western region. The pandemic has since caused mass devastation to the West Coast. Military forces are currently in retreat and cities are in complete disarray. It has become apparent to the Department of Defense and the CDC that this virus cannot be stopped from overtaking the entire western region, and data from health institutions projects that this virus will wipe out over 75% of the human population should it start spreading globally. Due to the circumstances, the President has approved drastic measures to stop the virus from entering other countries and the eastern United States. Effective immediately, the military will cease all operations in states west of the Mississippi River. The United States has forfeited its government jurisdiction in the West. This may seem like a harsh decision, but it was made to protect the rest of humanity from such a deadly disease. Refugees from the western states will not be accepted. Electricity and gas will be cut off indefinitely. God bless America, and remember, you are all dying for the greater good of the human race.
This is an emergency message. Health Canada has authorized this emergency message. It has become apparent that the virus spreading rapidly in the United States has crossed into Canada. When this first occurred is not known, but cases have been detected in Vancouver and Calgary. The virus, known as K17PXVI, colloquially known as the Plaxia virus, is a distant relative of the Ebola virus.
Ceci est un message d'urgence. Que le virus la plaque
unique bloodthirsty rage. The onset for the virus has not been identified yet. Common symptoms include fever, diarrhea, vomiting, muscle fatigue. Going 89212 and inform them of your location. A member of our pandemic team will arrive and handle the situation. If you are showing these symptoms, keep away from others. Phone the same number and inform them of your situation. Our pandemic team will deal with you.
Si quelqu'un que vous connaissez ressent symptômes, ou via des virus mention.
This emergency meeting was called due to a rapidly intensifying outbreak of a novel virus that has puzzled scientists in the western United States. This virus, officially called K17, seems to have several large countries have voiced their support and are willing to use their own militaries for this initiative. We will now vote on this proposal. Shall more than 2/3 of the Assembly vote in favor of this? It will be passed.
$179 people have voted in favor of this, and 14 have voted against this. This motion passes.
Why don't they just nuke it? Why didn't they just nuke it? I know that.
This is a broadcast from the BBC. Public Health England has informed us that the American virus has reached the United Kingdom. The virus big little rather or serotoxins to
Het Amerikaanse Plaxia-virus
The American Plaxia virus, officially called K. This virus of function control of where facial, all non-essential business and privately funded institutions will shut down until further notice, effective immediately. A full shut.
Thank you for being part of the stream. Highly appreciate it. Give me a second. My mouse isn't working very well. Oh wait, you're from Kick.
Lockdown is now in effect. We understand this may be harsh, but it is for the good of our country and the rest of humanity. If you have Plaxia virus symptoms, call authorities immediately and quarantine yourself. You will be dealt with. Failure to comply with these rules will result in death. Thank you for cooperating.
in your head countries
Please be advised, we are transmitting this message with very low power. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Australian Defence Force. The American virus K17PXVI is spreading rapidly and knows it, and it homicide that will only create a larger threat. The Australian military is severely depleted and resources are beginning to run out. It is advised that you remain away from cities, specifically those located in New South Wales and Queensland. Help is on the way. There is light at the end of the tunnel. We will survive.
Aeroportos no Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo e Grandes devem ser mais.
Following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. Emergency programming has been interrupted to bring you this message. K17PXVI has intensified. Cases are now being reported in every part of the world, and many countries have collapsed due to extreme outbreaks. The United Nations blockade has completely fallen through. Out of the 300 million people that lived in the United States, only 29 million remain official citizens of this country. The rest have either succumbed to the Plaxia virus or they have been cut off for the good of our nation. Anyone who contracts the virus will almost certainly become animalistic and homicidal. All remaining residents of the United States are strongly advised to remain indoors at this time. Seal all entrances to the outside to minimize the chance of the Plaxia virus particles getting inside of your house. The outside environment is extremely unsafe at the moment, and if you remain outside for more than 25 minutes without any sort of protection, you will contract K17PXVI. Make sure you have weapons on standby to protect yourself, such as knives, baseball bats, or guns. The CDC is still trying to figure out how this virus can circumvent the immune system and kill a person, and they are also trying to find a way to prevent that, though it is not guaranteed that a solution will be found. Do not call 911 unless you have a life-threatening medical emergency. Please keep in mind that emergency services are severely understaffed due to the pandemic, and you may not receive a response. Do not rely on law enforcement or military forces for protection. We are currently devising a plan to hopefully provide aid to all remaining citizens of the United States. Please remain tuned.
They've given up several times, but it's probably, and the President of the U.S. realizes that there's nowhere left to turn, and his resulting message only brings hope even more. Oh, God.
America, or for that matter, anyone who's left in the world. You know, I can't help but feel responsible for unleashing this beast into humanity and, well, our inevitable extinction. I've been in this bunker, hell, I don't even know where it is, since we cut off the western states, so a while, but not really. I mean, deep down I knew America was screwed from the beginning, but I had hopes that the rest of the world could go on. Clearly, I was wrong. I just looked at a projection based off of current data. It estimates that, at this rate, 1 in 3 people across the world will get the virus and die. At least. And, you know, we could have stopped it earlier, but now it's too late. And, well, again, I blame myself. Perhaps this was the awakening that we needed, that we as humans weren't invincible and that our arrogance convinced us otherwise. So this will be my final message as President of the United States, or just my final message ever. Hopefully one day society will be rebuilt. Thank you, and goodbye.
He killed himself. States a person that everyone trusts to lead them to is now gone. The action seals America's fate and eventually humanity's. The thought. January 14th, 2018.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst has unfortunately come to pass. It's officially fallen at the hands of K17PXVI, as will the rest of the world. Much of the federal government has ceased functioning, and the president has been confirmed dead. The pandemic has beat us. Cases are continuing to rise, and more countries continue to collapse. Society's end is inevitable. Earth will transform into a hellish planet unsuitable for all life. As such, you will no longer be able to rely on the government for protection or necessities. You are on your own now. If you are watching this, thank you for being a part of the American dream, and everything this country stands for. Perhaps one day, it can be reinstated.
far. I'm going to go ahead and give them a like. If you like this and enjoyed this, you should definitely go subscribe to them. They deserve it. And I think that's going to wrap up this stream.